Welcome to the Fifth Quarter Sportscast. I'm Jared Judy. I'm here again with my buddy Todd Corley. How you doing?
I'm walking better than some NFL players this week.
It's true. It is true. We will get there. So, with that being said, we just finished up week 2 here of the NFL season. We got plenty of things to break down here, and plenty of things to cover. For starters, we'll jump right out here and get the cheers of the week poll knocked out. Week 2 of the NFL season just wrapped up with the doubleheader Monday Night Football. Which game had the best finish of the week? Seahawks, Lions, Chargers, Titans, Bengals, Ravens, Giants, Cardinals. Seahawks, Lions at 29%, Giants, Cardinals 28%, Chargers, Titans 43%. I'm kind of shocked that the Giants, Cardinals got that much, to be honest. I mean, they're both kind of dumpster fires, but
What the fuck?
I did.
Cardinals was amazing. That was the best game I've seen this season.
Yeah, well, when it's two losing teams, I can't really get on board with that. I figured it would have been more so the Chargers Titans, to be honest, just because of the Staley aggressive go for it every single time. Eventually, one of these times it's got to pan out. I don't know when, but eventually it's got to pan out for him if you do it enough. But yeah, as of right now, Chargers Titans they led the poll.
It's pretty weak, man. Everybody counted out the Giants.
It's true.
They came back on them boys.
Well, we will break that down here in just a minute, but I actually voted for the Seahawks Lions just because Geno Smith and the Seahawks look like complete trash, and they were not any good in week 1, and they bounced back and got a win in overtime over the new America's team. Is that what we're calling them, the Detroit Lions? Did they usurp the Cowboys yet?
They've always been my team, Jared.
Oh, if you say so. All right. Yeah.
Since
But
1934.
whatever you say. But for me, I took the Seahawks Lions. What do you got over there?
A glass of bourbon.
Yeah? What kind?
I'm not popping any more tops. Last week left me a shell of a human.
That's
Still
how you know.
Tucker.
That's how you still you know the episode's good. If it leads. But since we touched on the Giants, we'll go ahead and start out with that game. We'll break down a couple games, fly through here, and touch on a few highlights. The Giants, after they managed to score, hang on, let me add up the math. Just carry the 0 points week 1. They came back from a 21-point deficit against the Arizona Cardinals, who are purposely trying to tank, and yet somehow they're having the hardest time trying to do it. They are so close to winning every single week. I don't know. Where do we stand with that? Where do we stand with the Giants? Was this they finally turn over the stone? I don't know. Barkley or not
I was
Barkley.
actually cheering for it. I'm like, oh my god, they're going to do it. They're coming back. Barkley's brittle as hell. Yeah, he done.
I was gonna say he's hurt again, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's done. He'll be back in a couple weeks, and then he'll get hurt again, and rinse and repeat.
He seems to be one of those that's turning out to have a fantastic rookie season, riddled by injuries from here on out, which doesn't do well for the running back market because it seems like they're all hurt. Aaron Jones was out this week as well. Jonathan Taylor supposedly has that phantom injury by Indy, and then Saquon Barkley's hurt again, and then we'll get to your bread and butter here a little bit later. J.K. Dobbins, week 1, he went down. It's like a lot of running backs are going down. It's not really helping the market value, that's for sure. They're looking very disposable in the sense that, hey, they're not durable. We're not paying that kind of money to those guys. But I don't know. I don't know what to think of them. I don't.
Pay them, though.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're left with A.J. Dillon, Matt Breida, Jerome Ford. Like you're left with Alexander Madison. You're left with a pile of shit. So
Alexander Madison is only a name in the fantasy world because he's definitely not a name in the real world. That's for sure. He has yet to improve. And the only reason he's even relevant is because of the guy in front of him is always injured.
he was, yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know too much more to say about the Giants. I didn't watch the game, but
I watched that. I did watch that one. That was one of the ones I was able to see later in the day. That was impressive. I didn't think the Giants were going to score a point in 2 weeks combined, like
what do
at
you
all.
what?
They
So
went
okay.
the whole first half, nothing.
So what do you think of Dobbs since you watched it?
It's typical. The guy goes from the Browns and looks like a fucking all-star.
I mean, I'm looking at his stats right now. They're not like mind numbing, but they're not
He has some nice
terrible.
passes, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he went 21 of 31, 228 and a touchdown. So I mean, they weren't. It's not flashy, but it's not terrible. But
Yeah,
I mean,
you want to know my honest opinion? I think he looked better than Deshaun Watson.
wow, that's not hard to do. I think Baker
Oh,
Mayfield looks better
well,
than him
he's getting paid a hell of a lot less.
for
I mean,
sure. Yeah.
let's not, no. Let's not go. Just pump the brakes right there. So,
I man, I figured
Let's.
that one. I figured you were gonna let that one slide by.
Look better than fucking Baker Mayfield. Oh my god. Yeah, you and Joe
So
are putting Baker Mayfield in the Hall of Fame.
no, not quite, not even close. Looking at Daniel Jones, it looks like he had a decent day compared to the monsoon of inefficiency he had week 1, 26 to 37, 321, 2 touchdowns. However, he did have an interception and he had 3 sacks. But that's light years better than where he was week 1. So
ran for a TD.
Yeah. We'll see where he fares, I guess. I don't know. The jury's still out on him. I can't figure it out. Some weeks he's on fire, other weeks he's not good.
He's I'll put it this way. Somehow he's not the worst quarterback in New York.
Well, the bar's pretty low right now.
That's right. That's the best thing I'll say about Daniel Jones. If you can't say anything else, don't say anything at all. But
I think Fireman Ed might be the best quarterback, and he doesn't even play on the field.
Definitely not any worse than the other guy.
Yeah.
That little twerp.
However, they actually had to go out and get another quarterback because they weren't thrilled with him, and it still blew up in their face. But we'll move on to the next one here. Speaking of blowing up in their face, Broncos, they got a new coach. We're going to whip Russell Wilson into shape. No more of the team 3. And then they blow an 18-point lead.
Yeah, but Russell Wilson had a pretty good game.
He did, but the scoreboard, the final score, I mean,
lost.
Yeah, that's what matters, wins and losses. But
I like stats.
I mean,
what can I do for my fantasy team?
Well, what matters in real life, fantasy or scoreboard?
Oh man, I don't know. We're all living in the Matrix.
It's true. But so have we changed opinions at all? I mean, what's your take on Denver? Are they even any better than they were last year? I mean,
no.
I don't know.
No. They're not any better. They're garbage.
I mean, they lost 17-16 week 1 against the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders they're not blowing the doors off anybody. And then they lost by 2 to the Commanders. I mean, not that the Commanders are garbage, but I don't know. They're just not getting it done. I don't seem really all that impressed with them.
No, Denver's diaper shit. They're awful.
I mean, yeah.
They got nothing.
Well, and looking at the stats, I didn't watch that game either, but looking at some of the stats, it almost looks like he's back in Seattle. 18 of 32, 308, 3 touchdowns and an interception. Okay, but then he was sacked 7 times. Like, those are numbers he had when he was in Seattle. He was getting blown up every time. That was the reason why he kind of started the bad blood in Seattle, because he kept saying he was getting sacked too much and calling out his linemen. I don't know. I just don't think it's working. I don't know if Russell's the guy there, but whatever it is, it ain't working. But with that being said, we'll move on here. Another another interesting game. Detroit and speaking of the former Seattle, uh, Detroit scores as time expires, sends it to OT, only to lose to Geno Smith with a touchdown. I'm not really sure what to think of Geno or Seattle this year. Like they came out so hot last year, and I kind of feel like they almost took a step backwards. Like they're not picking up where they left off last year. And I don't really think they lost anybody, did they? As far as roster wise? Not that I can think of.
They don't ever shot Penny anymore.
Well, I mean, Kenneth Walker was the guy before he got hurt anyway. I don't know.
Nah, they're not. No, it would be hard to replicate what they did last year. At least I don't know. Gino didn't look too bad though.
Well, he had a hell of a game compared to week one, and I'm only saying that because I have him as my starting running or quarterback in fantasy. And I mean, from week one, you could only go up. I mean, the stats were pretty bad last week, but Detroit does fall, which I don't know. We'll see. You come out firing on all cylinders and you take down the Chiefs, but then you stumble on the Seahawks. I don't know. I don't know that we know what the Lions are quite yet. We'll see.
We don't know it yet, but it's coming.
I don't think they know it yet. We'll see.
It's coming, baby.
We'll pin this and we'll come back. We'll take a 360 view and we'll come right back.
God damn it! I heard fucking Micah Parsons say it on the other show about fucking.
Did you lose? Did you that?
Oh, 360 from where I was. Oh,
right back. Could one say you're right back where you started?
Were you right back to Penn State, rubbing your penis in your teammates' chesticles?
Allegedly.
Allegedly, my ass. He can come find me. He knows what he did.
Oh boy!
Crawling like a goddamn animal.
Well, with that being said, speaking of crawling, Los Angeles Chargers crawl into OT against Tennessee, only to lose to a field goal. I kind of noticed something. Every single team that took the game to OT, I'm almost positive every team that scored last to force it to OT ended up losing. Not one of them won, which I kind of found a little interesting.
It doesn't matter what happens in OT, just as long as you get to OT. That's what they always used to say.
Well, I don't know that rings true.
I don't know where they said that, but no, that doesn't sound right either. You're right.
No, something doesn't add up. But what do we think here with Brent Staley? I've seen him on interviews. I've heard him talk. He sounds like a decent dude, but man, he's in close game after close game after close game, gamble after gamble after gamble, and it just kind of feels like they're one of those teams that are just like a powerhouse and have so much talent and so much potential, and they just fall short every single time.
Yeah, it's crazy when you've got what everybody thinks is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but you just can't fucking win ball games. It's weird. I don't know. They also didn't have Austin Eckler though.
Yeah.
Right?
No, they didn't have him. No, he was out.
He didn't play.
No, he was out. What was it? What was it? Was it hamstring with him?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that guy.
That's a huge blow. I mean, granted, they still have some receivers. They have some young talent at, receiver and tight end, but that offense runs through Eckler. If he's not out there, that's a lot of targets and a lot of runs off the offensive playbook.
Likes me some Vrabel.
That's the other team that confuses me. Like,
shout out Walsh Jesuit High School.
It wasn't that long ago that they were a force to be reckoned with. I mean, Derrick Henry was a monster, and it's like, is he kind of starting to slow down? Is he starting to decline, or are teams just really starting to just shut him down, and they don't have any other weapons? Like before, if Henry got the ball and he hit 100 yards, they were going to win. But I don't know the last time that's happened.
That dude's body's breaking down. That's why I mean, you can only touch the ball so many times.
Well, I mean,
Got a finite shelf life.
when you look at,
Plus, with his style of play.
they it shows here. Just looking at the stats, he had 25 touches for 79 yards and 3 receptions for 15. I mean, my God, the next closest runner had 8 carries. So I mean, when you're getting ran every play into the ground, man, something's got to give at some point. But I don't know. It's guys like that, guys like, not that I'm putting them in the same tier, same echelon, but it's guys like that. It's guys like Barry Sanders back in the day had so much talent, and the team just couldn't get over the hump. But them as individuals were just phenomenal athletes. Like, you almost kind of feel bad for them. Put them on an all-star team, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But then you put them on a team that they're not surrounded by a lot of supporting cast. It makes it almost miserable.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants to go to a winner.
Well, what's the saying? If you can't beat them, join them. That's what I hear.
That's right. I think we're 2 for 2 on these sayings.
That's what we're batting for. We're batting 1,000.
That's right. That's right.
This wasn't one of the games that I was really interested in kind of breaking down here, but obviously it's
Venezuela cricket.
Yes, stat line's phenomenal, I must say, for that one. No, serious note though, Bengals and Ravens. Ravens
Yeah.
get the win 24-27. I know Burrow, I believe, is still dealing with that calf issue, whatever that he was dealing with all the way back in training camp, which coincidentally is the same issue that plagued the New York quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. And we see how that ended up. What do you think about the Bengals? Like, are they going to start falling off? Or are they able to, if he gets healthy, are they able to rebound?
I don't know what I think he's going to need more than a week or 2 off to get his leg right. I think he rushed back. I don't know. Jamar Chase's value takes a dive. Joe Mixon. I love Joe Mixon. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. They rely so much on Burrow that if he's down, that team takes a huge hit. Like,
it definitely does.
Everybody suffers.
I don't know. They're better. I like them more than the Steelers.
Well, I think it goes without saying the Steelers are going to round up dead last in that division. But I definitely didn't expect the Bengals to take that far of a step back. Now, granted, is that just because Burrow's been a little beat up? I don't know, but it just still doesn't seem like this year they're starting where they left off, with him and Chase being on the same page, him and T. Higgins being on the same page, Joe Mixon being dominant. Like, I don't know, something
takes a toll on the body when you're lugging around all that, that big old bag of cash.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Leg's not ready for it. You
can you
can pull a hammy.
Well, yeah. I find it hard to believe they're going to take that much of a drop, but I mean, with all that talent, I know it's hard to repeat a season, but man, they have a lot of talent. That's, I don't know. I can't see them taking a step back that far. That's just me. But I don't know. I found it interesting that they played. They played the Browns week 1. So they've played 2 division games and they're 0-2. Like, that kind of shocked me. I kind of figured they would have at least been 1-1, but I don't know.
God, I hate Baltimore.
Well, another game we'll touch on real quick here, and we can break into a little bit more here. The Monday night games, we had the Saints Panthers. I believe that was the first one. I believe, right?
You are correct.
I had really no interest in watching that one. Saints take it 20-17. Derek Carr, he looks typical Derek Carr. 21 of 36, 228, no touchdown, 1 interception, and 4 sacks. He doesn't look all that great, but I mean, I don't know. Olave's
Baker Mayfieldian stat line there with his QB rating of 65.
Yeah, he looks very, very average at best. Especially when you have Olave and Michael Thomas and Taysom Hill. Like, I don't know. I know Jamal Williams kind of got hurt, I believe, in that game. From what I've heard, what I've read, I think he had a hamstring issue as well. Seems to be like the flu that's going around. But I don't know. I don't. I'm not really impressed with either team, Saints
Yeah,
or the Panthers.
give Saints another week.
They do have they have a solid defense. They have a really good defense, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when Kamara gets back when he gets off suspension.
Is it 4 weeks or 6 weeks?
It's one more. This is the last week without him.
Yeah.
This is
So
also
okay.
the week when somebody else will probably show up, who I'm not going to mention because I kind of want him in fantasy.
We're probably thinking the same thing.
We might not be. We could be, but we might not be.
Chances are we are.
We might not be.
But overall, I mean, neither of those teams were all that flashy.
The coolest part was Michael Thomas calling out West Side Crip Gang to the fucking Panthers defensive lineman that taking a sharp slant route right into the locker room because he was going to get his ass killed.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think they made note of that on the broadcast.
No.
They didn't point that one out. But we'll end here with this last game, and then we'll dive into some of the breaking news, kind of tie all that in together, and we'll deal with some fantasy studs and duds. But the second Monday night game, this one kind of hurt a little bit more to home, I feel like, for you. The Browns and Steelers. Steelers 26, Browns 22. The Browns were I caught bits and pieces of it, and I was kind of keeping stat line, drive summaries, and the Browns look like the better team. They just look like they were handling them.
Sure. For sure.
And then the shot felt around the world. Minka Fitzpatrick takes out Nick Chubb right to the knee. If you haven't seen it, it's disgusting. Like, there's certain places and certain joints in the human body that are not made to turn certain directions, and every one of his lower extremity turned the opposite direction it's not supposed to. Like, I know he basically shredded everything in his knee, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have ankle issues either, because from the view, the slide, the video is only one thing, but when you see the still frame, the video doesn't do it justice. I saw the still frame photo today, and I'm like, oh my God, like, he's bent over to the left, his knees going to the right, his ankle's like twisted 90 degrees. Like, he literally just ripped everything up, like destroyed it.
Yeah, I did a screenshot.
What do you think? Because that's the same knee he messed up back in college, isn't it?
It is.
So do you think
he got to be a pretty damn good NFL running back after that?
Is this his last year, or he has one more? It's his last year, isn't it?
They've got him wrapped up through, like, oh my God, like at least 2026.
Oh, they do? For some reason, I thought he was only on his last. I thought he only had 1 year left. I thought.
No, they say, when did he signed a 4-year deal? I thought he was up till like 26, like 2026.
He may, but for some reason because my thought was, if that's his last year, how the heck what are they gonna do with him? Are they gonna re-sign him? I mean, you kind of have to, but then do you want a guy he's only 24, 25 with two same blown knees? I mean,
so he's 28 right now. His contract goes through 24.
Oh, okay. All right.
I swear I saw something on 2026 because he got paid.
See, and I didn't think he was that old. I thought he was younger.
A 4-year contract, yeah.
So what do you think? Aside from the contract issues, physically, at that age, with that same side, the same knee, but with the extent of that, do you think he comes back? And do you think if he does come back, he's going to be near as effective?
I think, oh man, never say never. I think he could. I think if anybody could, he could. Him and Adrian Peterson. But yeah, I don't know, man. I haven't seen too many people squatting 675, just messing around at their high school. He could do it. I think he can do it. I hope to God he can do it. I don't want to
Well,
have
that's
to
the
rely
thing.
on
Like,
Kareem Hunt for the rest of my Browns existence.
well, that's the thing that blows my mind. I mean, I guess the body is only capable of so much. It's, so much load and so much, extremes without the addition of enhancements, I guess, as far as PEs and whatever else, because that's unlimited. Not saying that he took any, but my God, that guy's a horse. I mean, you look at some of the gym stuff that he's doing and you look at some of those squat videos. I mean, that bar is bending and it's got every weight in the room on it. So it's not like the guy had, weak form or, whatever, but it's like no pun intended. It's just like it's almost that's his Achilles heel is his knee. But it still blows me away that, somebody that's doing that much weight, one little, one pop and he's done. I don't know. That's going to be hard, man. From what I read, he shredded everything. Like there's nothing.
They were talking about multiple surgeries.
Yeah, from what I read, he basically just tore everything, like all. And it's man, I don't I don't know too many other guys that like shredded everything that bounced back. I mean, I know there's been a couple, but I don't think they've ever been the same. I mean, like Adrian Peterson, when he came back, he only tore the ACL, I believe. I don't think he destroyed everything.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I thought he did more, but at least the ACL. But Jesus Christ, he came back quicker than anybody else had
It was
come
like
back prior to that.
it was what,
You know what
like
I mean?
6 to 8 months or something.
Oh yeah, I mean he
It was nuts. I don't know.
his
I
recovery was unprecedented.
I I obviously, I mean, anybody that listens to this podcast knows it by now. I'm not a Browns fan. I'm not a Cleveland sports fan, but that dude is a freak. That dude is an animal. He's a horse, and frankly, he's the best weapon, hands down, that Cleveland has. And he's just an all-out fun player to watch. He reminds me of old school ball when we were little. Just watching him put his shoulder down and run dudes over. Like that's when it was fun. And so he kind of reminds me of you watch him and it's almost like you're holding on to a piece of your youth watching him run. It's like, oh my God, he's going to blow somebody up. Because there's not a lot of guys out there that run like that anymore. There's not a lot of guys that play like that anymore. A lot of it's speed and to the outside. And he's not afraid to go right up the middle and put his shoulder down and just take somebody out.
He's a
So
pure running back, man.
it's
He's the truth. That guy's
he
badass.
he's fun to watch. And man, it's gonna suck if that's his last snap. I hope it's not. It's fun to watch him play. So hopefully he everything goes well and we see him back on the field sooner than later. Um, but some of the breaking news to kind of touch on that. Since we are talking about that, Kareem Hunt did come back. Was he released last year or was it early this year?
Last year.
Okay, so
Well, I mean, he played. He was on the team. I thought last year.
yeah,
Yeah, because I drafted him last year, and his ass didn't do a goddamn thing.
okay,
It's hard to remember because it was very forgettable.
yeah,
They just said, "See you."
yeah. Well, he does come back to a system he's familiar with. He's been there for a couple years. I'm sure it's probably some incentive base as well, but it was a 1 year, 4 million. I'm sure there's some escalators or incentives built into that as well, since it is very early in the season. But he is back where he has been for the last few seasons. He's familiar with the offense, familiar with the verbiage in the playbook. So we'll see how that pans out. But do you think they take a committee approach, or do you think they take Ford as basically the starter and Hunt's more or less the same role he played before? Or do you think
That's
they
what they're
just take
saying.
or do you
They're
think they just
thinking
take
Hunt's going to be the backup. It's going to be the majority of Ford.
I almost think they'd have to take the hot hand, which, I mean, I think it's going to be Ford because we've already seen Hunt before in that role.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be much more than that.
He'll probably just end up being a change of pace like he was before for Chubb, I'd have to assume. But with that being said, the same game, for anybody that did watch the game or that didn't watch the game ended with a strip sack, scoop and score by TJ Watt. If I remember right, he did have 2 sacks, forced fumble, and then the scoop and score, which turns out won them the game. And with that sack, he then now passes a former Golden Flash, James Harrison, as the Steelers franchise sack leader, TJ Watt, now the franchise leader for them. Some other breaking news. Have you been paying attention to Richardson in Indianapolis?
Yes.
So I kind of caught some highlights of his week 1. That dude is reckless, and not in a bad way. I don't mean he's like a Carson Wentz or a Matt Ryan where he like throws the ball all over the place into like triple coverage. I mean, he's a rookie and he's not afraid to, hey, how many? It's 4th and 4. I'm going to put my head down and I'm going to get that 4. Like he's very, very, he's young and he's trying to make a name for himself and show that he can hang. But man,
putting that head down is what got his ass a concussion.
that's my point. Like you got to realize there's a time and a place, and you got to applaud the competitive nature. But man, you're the play caller. You need to keep your head out of it because as you go, the team goes, and you need to be there to call the shots.
He's gonna be good, man.
He is.
He's gonna be real good.
To be honest, in my lifetime, I don't know that I've ever seen such a physical quarterback play for Indianapolis alone, let alone in the league.
He's
like
big and
even when Andrew Luck was there, he didn't play like that. He was reckless in the sense that, if I throw a pick, I'm going to be the guy to tackle him because I can't let my team down. That was Andrew Luck. But this guy, if it's 4th and 1, I'm diving for the first instead of throwing it away and punting. He's good, but I think he's going to have to learn, fight another day. Don't lay it all out on the line in week 1 or week 2 because you got a long season ahead of you.
For my fantasy team, I hope so.
It'll be interesting to see. Typically, it seems like Indianapolis has a track record of not building the most talent around their key stakeholder players. So it'll be interesting to see. But I would love to be able to see Jonathan Taylor figure out whatever the hell he's got going on and get back on the field. I can only imagine watching that duo between Richardson and Jonathan Taylor his rookie year. Oh, my God. That would be unbelievable. But, man, I don't know.
Another couple of weeks, you might see that.
Well, either that or Taylor will be playing somewhere else, possibly. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. He might feel motivated once he saw what Richardson could do.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Richardson's career plays out because I think he's got so much potential in the world. Man, he's a physical dude. He's a big dude. But hopefully we get him back out on the field. But we'll end with the breaking news that is up your alley. Nakua, your guy, he had another big day against San Fran. He went, 15 for 147. That, if I remember right, yes. He broke the NFL record for most receptions by a rookie in their first 2 games with 20 receptions. My question here, yes, he's been a firestorm the first 2 weeks. Do you think we even know who this guy is if Cooper Kupp isn't hurt? Or do you think that they had plans for this the whole time to get him involved?
He wouldn't have been as quite as big of a focal point without Cooper Cup, but they did know from everything I read. They did know. That's why I ended up grabbing him before week 1, before he hit the waiver wire.
So basically, his success then is more or less a success by circumstance, at least as of right now. He had talent, but he didn't. He just didn't have the opportunity yet.
Yeah, that's about right. That's fair. Because I mean, Cooper Cup, if he doesn't have a bad wheel, you figure a lot of those balls are going to him.
Well, that was my thing. Like, how much would we have seen Nakua if Cup was there? I don't know that we would have seen 15 targets.
No, probably not.
You probably would have been lucky to see a third of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because just like they run the wheels off of these running backs, they run the wheels off of Cooper Kupp. But it'll be interesting to see how, if I don't know what the deal is with Cooper Kupp. If he's done, if he's, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. This hamstring thing he needs to figure it out.
He'll
but
come back in a couple weeks, get out there, re-injure himself, boom. Back
I was gonna say, if long term he's not able to go, I feel like the Rams found their next gem. And if that's the case, do you think they regret giving Kupp that contract when they have somebody in the wings?
Cooper Kupp's a bad dude, man.
When he's on the field, though,
it's hard, man. Those hamstrings are no joke. That's what I was talking with one of the other owners in our league before the draft, before any draft. I told him I sure as hell was not going to be drafting Cooper Kupp in any league this year.
No, me either.
With a bad wheel.
Mm-mm.
Nope, no thanks.
I mean, that's basically drafting somebody like Dalvin Cook either. I had no interest in him, mostly because I don't know that I've seen him go through a full season in the last 4 or 5 years without getting hurt. Like, I don't know. Him and Kupp are just one of those guys that you're playing with fire. They're going to get you points, but then all of a sudden they get hurt, and now you're scrambling to find somebody to fill that spot.
That's right. They're dead to me.
But with that being said, we'll touch on some.
What about you got the other one? You got another news? What about the other one? What about Cam Akers?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him.
Speaking LA, you see a little tradesy wadesy?
Did he? Did they ship him off?
Oh, they did. They did earlier today, this afternoon, this evening.
I was keeping an eye on it, but I didn't see where he went. Where'd he go?
Yeah, Minnesota Vikings, baby.
Well,
Alexander
that's probably
Madison is now. Boom. I like this one too. I like this one.
So what was the trade? I didn't see it. Did Madison, was he part of the trade, or is he just now in his backup role as before?
Now, well, if he didn't know, now he's about to find out. He's about to be back in the backup role because that guy sucks. But I think they traded a couple future mid-round draft picks.
I could never figure out what was going on with him. Like, it seemed like either him and McVay or him and the Rams just didn't get along. Like, he would get out there and he'd produce, and then the next week he wouldn't even be on the field. He'd be a healthy scratch. And I knew that I saw that they were trying to put him on a trade block and they were looking for offers or whatever. But yeah, I just was reading, and I think it was in Yahoo in our league, reading some notes that he was a healthy scratch. And then I saw that he posted on Twitter and was like, yeah, I'm just as confused as the rest of you. So it was almost kind of like he didn't realize that he was a healthy scratch. But it's like, well, obviously, he didn't seem like he was interested in being there either.
Nah, he was out there banging McVay's wife or girlfriend or whatever the hell she is.
Is that what it?
Get him out of town.
Also, that's what it was. It wasn't the lack of production.
Same thing. Well, he was producing all right. Sperm. Him and fucking Jared Goff, they're both fucking Eiffel Towering the shit out of McVay's wife, so they both had to go.
speaking of
100%.
speaking of
Send
that,
them both to the NFC North. God damn.
not to go back on another game, but did you see the? I saw a clip on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, of that nasty play fake by Golf. Did you see that?
I don't think so. Was it a deep fake? Was it like the guy who talks like Tom Cruise?
Not quite that deep. No,
It wasn't. It wasn't a deep fake.
no.
Fucking
I'll have to.
AI.
I'll have to send it to you. Well, that or what's it? The what is it?
Send me a
The
postcard.
the guy from what's the coach's name from Iowa? Ferens.
Kirk Ferentz. Yeah.
Yeah, his it was either
Oh,
him or
that fake.
his son. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't quite that deep. No, um, he did this play action fake where it was almost like a jet sweep. I've watched that thing like 5, 6 times, and it still blows my mind how good of a fake Jared Goff had, and it was so smooth that just as the snap came, the runner was coming by, and he backed up and took his 3 to 5 step drop just like he was going to pass, and then he just dropped his hands, basically like he threw it. I forget the guy's name, but do you remember? I think it was a
Oh yeah,
Thanksgiving
he got
game.
laid out.
Yeah.
He got
Do you remember the game? Are you watching it now?
yeah.
Yeah.
He got leveled.
But then the guy gets up and celebrates after it was a late hit, like blatantly late. Like he had no clue.
Oh, that's glorious.
Who was the guy? I don't know if you remember, but I know it was I'm almost positive it was the Detroit Lions, and that's the first thing that popped into my head when I think it was either a sack or a tackle. It was years ago. I think it was a Thanksgiving game. I could be wrong, where the guy jumped up and like celebrated, kind of like Jared Allen's celebration when he would make a play, and then he tore his ACL. Do you remember that?
I do.
That's the
Yeah.
first thing that popped into my mind when that guy jumped up and started doing that. I'm like, he's celebrating a guy that he just got a late hit penalty on, and he didn't even have the ball for like 4 seconds.
Oh, so good.
You got to give it to him though. That was a hell of a fake. That was a hell of a fake.
That was something to watch there.
I mean, it didn't work out in his favor, but it was a hell of a fake. But
yeah.
well, we'll
Yeah.
we'll wrap it up here with the we'll take a glance here at some of the Commissioner Cup fantasy studs and duds. So for the studs, we got Daniel Jones, Brian Robinson, Steelers defense, and Jalen Hurts. As of right now, Brian Robinson, Steeler defense, both at 50%. Yeah, I'm kind of confused by that one. I mean, I voted for the Steeler defense because, I mean, typically when the defense has a walk-off touchdown, it's kind of hard to beat.
They had a hell of a day.
Yeah.
Browns didn't do themselves any favors by, I don't know, not catching the passes that hit them in their fucking hands. But
yeah, that doesn't help.
And then going right to the defense. But yeah, I mean, dude, your defense has that good of a performance. Yeah, they deserved it.
But yeah, looking at the fantasy duds, and this one kind of confuses me as well. I'm not really sure who's voting in this and why they're voting because some of the voting doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. It seems like it should be math heavily weighs the options here, and I don't think that's the case for everyone. But anyway, fantasy duds. We got the Giants defense, the Jets defense, the Lions defense, or Zay Jones. Simple math tells you only one of them got negative points.
Negative. Anytime a team hurts you.
And yet somehow we have votes for the Giants defense at 60%, Jets defense at 20%, nothing for the Detroit Lions, and Zay Jones at 20%.
But just doesn't like the Jets.
Yeah.
Probably, I'll bet you Zach Wilson's voting on that goddamn poll. We need to check the X analytics.
Well, then who's Zach voting?
Wilson voted on his own goddamn defense. That son of a bitch.
Well, then is it Trevor Lawrence that voted for Zay Jones?
Probably.
I mean, when the Giants get you, yeah, true. He's been known to do that from time to time. I mean, honestly, though, it seems like it's pretty straightforward. When there's a player slash team that gets you less than zero and the rest options are zero, simple math tells you that's probably the biggest dud of the week. But I don't know. It dumbfounds me, I guess. But um, I don't know. Is there anything else you had?
Um,
Um, any games you're looking forward to this week?
I'm just hoping that there's a lot of Cam Akers this week
So
running wild in
should
Minnesota.
we
Cause
should we take the under for tomorrow, the Giants and 49ers?
oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
going to be a
the
massacre.
fix was in.
How many we should be, hey, is there a FanDuel or DraftKings or whatever platform? Is there a place you can bet on how many times Danny Jones's ass is going to get sacked? Can we bet on that one?
Oh man, probably
Cuz I'm going to take the over.
might
I
flip. He probably will. Yeah, I think I do. I got a couple wagers out on tomorrow night's game.
haven't put
I
anything
got,
in yet.
I got a couple parlays going here. I did some
Uh
stupid math on the. I picked another game this weekend too. Broncos Dolphins.
Akers isn't
Yeah,
going to play this week, is he? You
he
think?
could. I mean, he didn't play last week. He got them fresh legs.
It's true. It's true. Wow, apparently he'll know the Vikings offense just as well as he knows the Rams offense then.
He got that chip on his shoulder. I don't
Um
understand how a dude who came in and looked like a fucking second coming of Eric Dickerson, his
I
last
mean,
4 games of last season, motherfucker
that's what I
averaged 5.5 yards a carry
well that's what I was
last season,
reading. I
and
was reading that at the end of the season he just blew up and then they're just like, "Oh, thanks, we're moving on."
3 touchdowns against Denver last year, like week 14 or whatever, 13, something like that, and then like
Thank you for your service, sir. There's the door.
yeah, stay out of my wife. We're getting rid of your ass. Healthy
It'll be
scratch.
interesting.
You
It'll be
gave my
interesting.
wife a healthy scratch. I see you, Sean. Bastard.
It'll be interesting to see. You know what? I got something, but it, it'll be interesting to see the Vikings and Chargers. Like the Vikings need a running back. The Chargers can't close out the game, so someone's got to win. Um, but the rumor is if you know Sean McVay, you got a job locked up. I think Cam Akers is the first time that's not been true.
Man, you knew Sean
he,
McVay. What was it?
he knows Sean McVay and got shipped out of town.
Oh, that's right. My dear God.
Let's see who else. Who else we have?
Veronica.
Well, it'll be an interesting one if Richardson clears protocol. Colts and Ravens. I think that could be a fun game.
Yeah, that'd be man. Yeah, I don't think Richardson's gonna end up playing, but man,
I don't
Richardson versus Lamar Jackson would be a hell of a lot of fun.
exactly.
Might be fucking both
Holy crap!
asses thrown.
Looking at some of the schedule here. Oh, geez, I don't even care to watch this game. And why is this a primetime game? Dallas and Arizona at 4:25 Eastern. Why?
Nice.
Why? That's gonna make it. All we're gonna see is Micah Parsons with like 35 sacks before halftime.
I'd love to see it.
Nobody wants to
Against that
see that.
quarterback, doesn't have no damn eyebrows.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, another fantastic primetime matchup: the Bears and the Chiefs. Really,
I love it.
really?
Two of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL going at it.
Who? Which ones are you talking about? Because not in that game.
Oh
Justin
yeah,
Fields
man.
can't figure out how to play because of coaching. That's what he
It does
says.
sort of it does sort of suck because they got 2 Monday nighters again. So you're
Yeah, but
losing out on one of those afternoon games.
yeah, but
I
then you
don't
get
like
to
that.
yeah, but then you get to see your guy Maker Bayfield on primetime.
You know what? I'll bet you. No, damn. I was hoping. Shit, that won't
He,
happen. God damn.
he's gonna get his ass lit up by the Eagles.
I hope so. If there's a God, that defense, man. I hope. Oof. God, I hope Jalen Carter stubs toe fists in his ass.
So okay,
Ooh.
what do you think? Rams and Bengals.
Mm, well, the Rams did me dirty, so I'm hoping the Bengals. I think
I
the Bengals
can't
win that one.
I can't see the Bengals going 0-3. I don't know. I can't
Hell
see it.
no, not at home. home prime time. They
Yeah.
got that one.
Yeah,
I'm
I
so
can't see it.
confident. I picked up the Bengals defense. Now that Akers is gone, McVay thinks he knows it all.
I mean,
Shit, Kyron
what?
Williams about to get twisted in half.
I was gonna say,
We're
what
due
difference
for a
does it
horrific.
make?
Listen, we're 2 for 2 on horrific Monday Night Football disasters.
Did you see that almost looks like the Madden curse? Did you see that little train of injuries? Did you see that
Yeah.
screenshot?
Oh God, I don't think so.
So
Let me type in train.
I saw it somewhere. Don't type
Charles
in
Train.
Sean McVay and train. You're gonna get
Yeah,
Cam Akers pictures.
it's coming. God, I hope so. I want to see that shit.
No, it was something like the last 3 or 4 Monday night games. It was dating back to last year, primetime games. It was DeMar Hamlin. It was Aaron Rodgers, Nick Chubb. Those are like the last 3 like major primetime games. All 3 ended in major injuries to their star players.
Yeah, that ain't great.
It's almost like the Madden curse where you don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, fuck that.
And
Man.
supposedly, is this the first year that they are able to or going to potentially flex Monday night games? Or is that next year?
I don't know. They probably wouldn't put it past them this year. Goddamn.
Well, because I heard they were talking about potentially being able to flex them on ESPN. They were on the morning show I listened to. They were talking about being able to flex the Monday night games because apparently Monday night is not the end all be all like prime time hit like it used to be. Thursdays are garbage. Mondays are turning into be snooze fest blowouts, and it's like Sunday night is the big game of the week. Man, I always felt like Monday was the big stage.
Man, Christmas. There's 3 of them. Christmas is on a Monday this year. There's 3 games. Yeah, it's so diluted. Like you get NFL every damn day of the week. It seems like Thursday's a joke. Monday
what
night
was
used
it?
to be special.
Wasn't it COVID? I think they had the Steelers on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday or something.
Yeah,
So
they had to navigate that.
it was like the only week of the season you didn't have a game that week. I think was like a Wednesday or a Friday, Tuesday or Friday or something.
Yeah, that was nuts. I can't believe they made it through every. They didn't like scrap a single game. That's
I mean,
nuts.
come on, darn well those owners aren't going to be out of a day's worth of money. They're going to find a way. Jerry Jones's pocket's not going to go dry.
You're pretty quick to pull the ejection cord on that goddamn Bills Bengals game when that homeboy DeMar Hamlin just referenced decided his heart didn't want to fucking beat any longer. They were all real fucking quick to jump ship there. Back in my day, we used to do fucking compressions, roll his ass off the field, get back to the goddamn game. Business don't stop.
No, they just move it down the field 10, 15 yards,
Jesus Christ,
back on the ball.
Don't step on him, but we got a game to play here, guys. We got to go over here. God damn. Man. Sorry, we got to shut down the whole hospital. We got a guy coding in here. We can't do anything else. Shut it down. Shut down the whole thing. Show goes on. God damn, these soft asses. Enter the transfer portal later. We got to play some football. This is playoff implications. Real and fantasy.
Oh. Well, I don't think I have anything else. You get anything?
No, just folliculitis. Thank God it's not herpes.
Well, on that note, that'll wrap up another episode here on the Fifth Quarter Sportscast. Download, rate, subscribe, review, all that fun stuff. If you want to interact on all the socials, you can catch us at Fifth Q Sportscast. Until next week, go watch some football. You're going to make some bets, make some smart bets, make some money. Get out there, play a little fantasy, catch some football, and come back next week. We'll break down some games, and we'll have some fun.
1 is fine. 2 is divine. Keep your tits dry. Scooty, scoot!